an agent needs to understand how to work with their investors, how to ask the right questions. And that's a big part that I'm passionate about teaching. You need to know if they buy at 60%, 70%, 50% of value. So,
Right.
It could be, Jordan, hey, your house retail, it looks like you want 500,000. I know my investor would offer 400 with an inspection period. Can I come by today to either look at it, or can I bring my investor tomorrow so I can give you the most accurate cash offer?
Because the management and transparency is what's very important. So once you submit a referral, you're going to have your own Home Advantage account, and it's going to tell you where everything sits. So if you have 10 referrals that you've sent into the network, it's going to give you all 10 referrals. It's going to tell you every milestone that client is sitting in, whether they're touring homes, whether they're in escrow. And you now can manage through the Home Advantage application as far as what your pipeline looks like for the referrals that you've sent. And so it's pretty sophisticated, and it's all click of a button, guys.
Welcome everyone to LabCoatAgents. We're here with Jordan Weber of zBuyer, and we're here with Christina Griffin of Keller Williams, and they're going to be here talking about some different options for different offers. And so welcome here. Everybody, if you can put your location where you're at in the chat, let us know what city and state you're from. And if you guys have any questions, definitely drop them in the chat and we'll be answering them throughout the process. But Jordan and Christina have something great for you guys. So take a listen and enjoy.
Yeah, everyone jumping into, as we're kind of diving into this, I'm curious to hear what options you guys have. What are you doing for homeowners to try and convert, these seller leads, especially where they want options. Real quick, my name's Jordan, like Trenton said. I'm the head of growth with zBuyer. Christina, I'm not even going to try and say everything you do. I'll let you cover that because there's so many different pieces.
Okay. Hi guys. My name's Christina Griffin. I am an owner of an awesome expansion team with Livian in Keller Williams. I am a MAPS coaching mastery coach. I also teach an amazing fast track program through MAPS coaching called Dominate Off Market Listings. I also, in addition to that, lead our Keller Williams relocation community. I'm one of the co-leaders, as well as one of the co-leaders of our relocation department. And I've got 3 kids and I'm happily married and I still eat dinner with my family every night.
Awesome.
Is dinner at 2 a.m, Christina?
No, not at all. I am a slave to my schedule, but I also am up at 4:15 every morning and truly with intention of how I run my day.
Very cool. You've been working our leads for how long now, Christina? Like off and on for,
Oh my gosh.
6 years, 7 years, I think.
Probably 7+ years. And your lead source is the only lead source that I pay for.
That's awesome.
Other than data.
Yeah. That's amazing to hear. I kind of want to dive into it. Primarily, you get our seller leads, and that's really what you focus on. Mm-hmm. But our seller leads, like are cash offer leads first. They're homeowners, but they're online. We catch them looking at options. They want to know what is their home worth and what could they get for it in multiple different scenarios. So really, these are homeowners that are trying to empower themselves in the decision-making process by saying, I don't have to just go the traditional listing route. There's more options out there. They hear about iBuyers, cash offers, all of these different things. And so they want to know, what can I do besides just listing my house? And eventually they end up coming through our path if they want to fill out a series of questions, but they're saying that they're interested in a cash offer. They're interested in the market value of their property. They're letting us know how soon they're looking to sell. If they are, they're letting us know if the property is listed. If it is, we kick them out. If they'll be buying, when they buy, will they need financing? Why are they selling? I mean, so there's a good bit of information. But I think the biggest thing that we see here is that there's somewhat of a lapse of education on the homeowner's part as to what their options are, what's going to be the best option for them. and they're reaching out saying, I'm open to hearing options. I'm open to hearing about more. I might not necessarily be selling right this minute, but it's something that's on my mind.
Mhm.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah, 100%. And like any lead, or one of my coaches calls them inquiries.
Uh-huh.
Until you convert them, you've got to do the work. A lot of people, I feel like they get to an overwhelm phase where they stop working leads if they don't get instant gratification. So we have a very, very high touch plan that we put in place, high text, high drip, but we do a lot of additional touches as well. And I can dive into that if you would like.
Yeah. Let's talk about that, because I know you've got a very well built out system for these.
We do. So I have an ISA team. And I also use a CRM that it does very high touch, high text with complying to TCPA, right? And that's a big thing. You have to, someone says, don't reach out to me again. You comply to the TCPA and you unsubscribe them. Now, when an opportunity or an inquiry comes in, Jordan, it flows directly into our CRM. I know a lot of you guys are connected with quite a few, right? Or an agent can manually add it. It's applied to a very a high touch auto plan that within seconds is texted, as well as their high touch emails. But to be honest with you, it's so much more than that. So it's speed to lead, right? So you're going to have two buckets. My favorite leads for you are your prospecting leads.
Very interesting. And for anyone who doesn't know, these prospecting leads are anywhere from 3 months old to 2 years old. There's something anyone gets whenever you sign up with us, but it's a huge backlog of data that we give to you for free. Because these are leads that we might have not had enough subscribers for. They might have went unserviced. They potentially haven't sold during this time frame. So we just open this up as a free bonus whenever you come in, because our real-time leads, they take time to come in. They could be 4 or 5 days apart, and then maybe you get 5 in one day, because it's organically as people are online filling out the lead forms.
And those prospecting leads, they've already been called. They have sometimes, as you guys know, you have different sources you're part of. And what's my favorite one is, I did not put my information in. So I think they think we have robots that are just adding coming up with people's names and phone numbers and putting their information in, that we're making up the inquiry. So regardless of what online lead aggregate you work with, we all have that. Yes, they did put in the info. So ideally the older ones do work really well. But guys, with the TCPA, with the multiple people calling them, we have to set ourselves apart. So I love a simple door hanger. I love a simple letter. And then we stay in touch with them. So that to me is what I would recommend. And that's part of what I teach on a high level. You have a seller come in. If you could not get a hold of him, you need to touch him in another way. So most agents know the word golden letter. Golden letter is by far, and again, I teach this in a high level on how to do this, but you take one of your leads. If you can't get a hold of the seller, you go and put a simple letter on the door. And that letter is, I have buyers looking in your area. Would you be willing to sell your home? So you do this with all the different lead generation.
Yeah, and this is something you and I have talked about before on another webinar. But one thing I can't remember is, from the time that the lead comes in, how quickly are you doing the door hanger and the golden letter? Is that within a week of not touching them, or?
Yeah, within a week of if they do not get back to us right away, it's within, we have every week people going out and putting door hangers out.
Very interesting. And what kind of response do you see from those?
Well, different lead buckets, right? Because we do quite a few. With yours, I'd say probably at 10 to 15% response. But here's the thing I would say, I want you guys to equate it back to good old expires.
Yeah.
Expireds come off the market. Half of them are on the TCPA, so no one calls them. They come home from work, they've got 20 voicemails on their phone. What are you doing to set yourself apart? Believe it or not, just a simple door hanger or a simple pop by to them, back to old school. I've been an agent for way too long. You can't probably see my gray hair right now. But I've been an agent for 20 years. The things that we used to do work more than ever. So multiple touches create multiple results. So you're going to call them. They're going to be applied to an auto plan. You're going to put a door hanger out, and then you're going to a letter should go out on a monthly basis on a minimum.
Very interesting. That 10 to 15% response rate on those, I'm going to be honest, I wouldn't have guessed it's that high, because that's, a good conversion, but that's the people that calling, emailing, and texting wasn't working for. So it's not just brand new leads, an initial 10%, conversion or contact rate with them. That's after you've exhausted all those other options already. So that's really interesting.
Yeah. Absolutely. And it's not just your leads. For me, I love like pre-foreclosures. You layer them in. So if we're going to go to a neighborhood that has one that came from your lead source, right? We're going to look and see what other divorce and expireds and pre-foreclosures are there. But here's the magic, Jordan. It's locating who's the multi-owners in that neighborhood, reaching out to them, saying, I have a property. I prospect for off-market properties in a neighborhood that it looks like you own multiple properties in. Would you be interested in buying more? Could I help you? So it's utilizing the data to create the results. And that's part of the MAPS class that I teach that's open to all agents. I teach them how to utilize those sources. How, if a house is in 123 Main Street, in a neighborhood, you can look and see who the multi-owners are, and if they don't live in the property, if there's a mailing address, and you go that next step. And that's how the results get created on the best level. And I just looked, we just converted and closed a lead from your source, that's 7 years old.
Oh my goodness.
Just from nurturing, with over 200 touches, and that they've been on our site and looking and things like that.
Wow. So, there's two things that we do. One is we sell leads. We sell people that are raising their hand saying, hey, I'm curious to know about these numbers. But I think even more than that, the biggest thing we do is we fill your database. We're bringing you true homeowners in an area that are saying they have an interest in knowing their home's value, a cash offer, these different things. It doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be selling right now, but what we're doing is we're giving you the chance to become the realtor that they know to grow to know and trust over time. So when, 7 years down the road, albeit that long, you are the person they're coming back to and saying, hey, Christina, or whoever, I think I'm ready. Let's talk.
Absolutely. And, that's the biggest thing that I would say for agents in general. No matter if you can't get a hold of somebody, don't give up. Utilize your technology to be able to work for you and continue to add value and nurture that person. You don't know the situation where they're at and what's occurring. I'm looking in my site right now. I have someone that is currently on my site, was on my site 8 minutes ago, that a year ago came in from your source, another 3 months ago, another 6, another 2 years ago. And that's just from looking at one screen.
Wow. That's awesome. And like I said, you guys have, been using our lead source for a long time, and you've built a system and a process that you've been able to scale and help other agents put in place. But we've kind of talked about so far, like the initial getting in contact, getting to them, getting them on the phone, having the conversation. But I know one thing you hear whenever you get them on the phone is, I don't want to list my home. I just want a cash offer. Just bring me a buyer, bring me someone. So whenever you hear that, what are you doing to, try and fulfill that? If it is just a cash offer they want, where's that cash offer coming from?
So I work with a ton of investors, Jordan. And I have quite a few buyers that are in that are looking to buy a home in the neighborhood that you own. Can I come by today at 5 o'clock to walk through the property? I just want to take some photos so I can connect my client that is the best for that property. Because here's the thing, Jordan, if I don't come see your home, the offer is going to be less. If I can come see your home, I can see the condition. I promise you it's going to be quick. I will be able to get the right offer for you. Now, you may push back and you may say, just give me an offer.
Yeah.
So I completely understand and respect that. So you can give, an agent needs to understand how to work with their investors, how to ask the right questions. And that's a big part that I'm passionate about teaching. You need to know if they buy at 60%, 70%, 50% of value. So,
Right.
It could be, Jordan, your house retail, it looks like you want 500,000. I know my investor would offer 400 with an inspection period. Can I come by today to either look at it, or can I bring my investor tomorrow so I can give you the most accurate cash offer?
So
Yeah.
I'd say there, number one, having strong relationships with investors in your market. One thing we hear though a lot, especially from newer agents or agents that might have relocated and be in a new market, is how do I start forming these, investor relationships? You've been in the business quite some time, but in the beginning, what did you do to find these investors and start these relationships?
Yeah, that's a great question, Jordan. And that's a big part that I'm passionate about. There's different ways to approach creating those investor relationships. So an agent can simply go to Facebook group. So you can type in, I'm in Florida investor group. You can post in the Facebook group that you're an agent that prospects for off-market properties. You're looking to grow your investor list. Can you please call me? And then you leave your cell phone number. People reach out to you. You got to know how to do a needs analysis. I started going to investor RIA groups, real estate investor association groups.
Okay.
20 plus years ago, I would stand up in front of them. I would say that I'm the agent. I want to work with them. I would rent buses, go and tour properties with them that are bank owned. Then I became a bank owned agent and did hundreds of short sales and, corporate homes, and just continued to grow. Right now, I'm a data nerd, full transparency, and any agent, no matter their experience, if you know how to look in a neighborhood, if you know how to locate who owns multiple homes, you pick up the phone and you call and you say, Jordan, I have a property in a neighborhood that it looks like you own homes and it looks like you own multiple homes across the country. I just want to see if you're interested in buying more. Is there anything I can help you with? Any agent, no matter their experience, they could have just got their real estate license. If you have a deal, you can find investors. And that's part of what I teach them how to do, is how to locate that information.
Very interesting. Oh yeah, go ahead, Trenton.
I was just saying that's pretty great. I like your approach in order to, especially if you're starting out in the business. So think that you have to have so many years of experience in order to be able to do that, and you really don't. You just need to have that kind of confidence, and like you mentioned, just having a property or two, and then being able to approach that. I think that's amazing.
Yeah. Well, and I look at it with agents. Even the two of you. Do you know how many people own multiple properties in your neighborhood? Do you know who's a renter, pre-foreclosure, divorce, bankruptcy, has liens, has judgments? All that information is available to our agents. So I teach them how to think like real estate investors. Yeah.
It's really interesting. I did another one here on LCA with Barry Jenkins just a week or two ago. And Barry talked, a lot of similar things to what you're talking about, how the leads are 15%. And the data that he's finding and going with the leads is, the 85% of the piece that he's, basing his system around, where he's making decisions, who he's calling. He's using the data to drive that, and less of just the lead itself. And it's interesting, for agents, that aren't doing this yet. I think to kind of what you're saying here is it helps what options are going to be the best. The more data you know about them, you can come to them more educated without even, these full detailed conversations, knowing some key points that might be happening or might not be happening in their life and how you can better serve them. So it's really interesting.
Life events, no matter what happens in a market, if you know how to navigate life events, you're going to dominate any market. So, and your leads are a foot in the door. So, but not everyone, even if you are buying from other online lead aggregates, are going to answer the phone right away. So high touch, high love, think outside of the box, and don't give up on the leads. That really is where it's at. But I also say to the agents, when you go out to the property and you may have a house in 123 Apple Street, put 10 door hangers to the right, 10 to the left. If you're driving out to a neighborhood, make the best use of it while you're going out there. So again, it's just, we overcomplicate things. And if we could just keep it simple and consistent, and all things are possible.
I like the idea of having the additional homes as well, because a majority of neighborhoods, or especially depending on what type of families are in there, they're going to be talking with each other. You know, they're going to be, hey, did you see that this came on the door? Or maybe they went to go drop something off and it's like, oh, you know, I recognize that because they stopped at my house. Or maybe they're going to the park, or the pool's coming up. You know, they're going to talk about that. So I think that's really great to get that exposure out there.
And talk to people, you know, and a lot of people are afraid to door knock. Just put it on the door and keep walking. I call it COVID style ding dong ditch. You know, it just put it there, and they'll call you if there's a need, but stay in touch, you know. But yeah, we love your leads, even the buyers, because here's the thing, the buyers are they're a mix, right? The buyers are, a lot of them are investors. It could be, you know, that they could be going through their own life event looking to buy a great deal. But the buyers is the same way. It's doing a needs analysis, figuring out what they're looking for, and what drove them to the site. The biggest thing I'd say for the buyers and the sellers is what we spoke about in the beginning. The part where they say, I did not inquire, they did inquire. So you need to know that. You don't fight them on that, but it's, I received your real estate inquiry. I just wanted to reach out to see if I can help you with anything. Keep it simple.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the whole piece of I didn't fill anything out, that wasn't me. You know, it becomes a big deal in the conversation when you make it a big deal. If you get hung up on, oh, well, how did that happen? Oh, no, I can't believe, you know, whenever you start to make it a big deal and feed into that, it becomes a big deal. You know, we see a lot of times people are online shopping. They're thinking, you know, this is in their head. They're not verbally speaking it yet, because these are the early steps. These are the first processes. And all of a sudden, whenever someone calls them, it becomes real. Buying a house, selling a house, those are big life decisions. And so sometimes there's a little bit of a shock when they go from just exploring ideas in their head to someone's calling them to actually talk about it.
I agree. I agree.
So I think with that, you know, it comes down to a few things. One, you know, being comfortable and confident on the phone. And then the second piece is having a purpose-driven phone call. If you call them just to have a conversation because they're a lead that came into your database, you're not going to go anywhere. There's some key objectives there. Whether it's a buyer or a seller, you know, what's the next step? You know, you're clearly looking to make a move. So what's going on? What's changing in life? Are we upgrading? Are we downsizing? Are kids moving out? Or is there another kid on the way? Get to the pieces that are, you know, less scary, you know, the emotional appeal. What's the excitement about this?
In building rapport, a lot of times it has to happen in person. So get that appointment. Get in, take some photos, talk to them. A lot of times you've got to be in person. Don't be afraid if you are uncomfortable going to a house that, you know, this is something new and different, bring one of your coworkers. Have a real estate investor that you know that you can bring with you. Get in front of them. But, you know, Jordan, a lot of the leads that come through, they're absentee owners. So that's where the game's in the follow-up. Every lead that you talk to or you leave a message for, what would it look like if you sent them a card saying, just based their address and their name, hey, Jordan, I left you a message, received your real estate inquiry. I just wanted to see how I can help. Can you call me? And it could be a spring card or a Memorial Day card.
Yeah.
You know,
you mean you don't say you got something that said they wanted to sell their home tomorrow and you're ready to come list it and put a sign in the yard?
No.
Wow. It's almost like that scares people off.
Well, think about for sale by owners.
Yeah.
You know, how many agents just call and say, hey, I see your house for sale. Can I come list it? No, I have a buyer. I work in the area. Can I come take a look at your home? And you build rapport. Same thing.
Absolutely.
The same thing.
One thing I want to touch on too really quick, because I know you have an ISA team. What are you doing in place from the ISA working the lead, getting the appointment set, to handing it off to the agent? Because this is something we hear from a lot of people using our service, that they buy our leads, they immediately go out and they find some ISA company somewhere, good, bad ISA company, either one. But then all of a sudden they say, I'm getting all these appointments, but I fumble it whenever I get to the appointment. What are you doing to make sure it's a smooth connection from ISA setting the appointment to agent showing up?
With agents, right there, we always learn and grow. So,
Yeah.
so I do have a team. I did not hire a company, so I'm blessed to have a very large virtual team that we've hired and trained. And we do one of two ways. So an appointment is live transferred to the agent. Call Fire is a super simple, inexpensive system where when they're talking to somebody, if they get a live one, they can live transfer it so that agent can finalize and set up the appointment.
Okay, so it's actually the agent that's stepping into the phone call. The ISA is not taking it all the way.
The ISA takes it pretty much to the way, right?
Yeah.
But that ISA, for us, some agent teams, and there are a lot that will set that appointment. What I found with a lot of leads, they could be investors. There could be a lot of unknown. So for us, I like the agent to be able to physically talk to the person to kind of, set the appointment and the time. Some of my agents, our ISA team does have their calendar for, and the ISA team does physically set the appointment for them. The agent goes on the appointment as well. So it really just varies. Everyone just truly has to learn to be versatile, because a lot of the leads are very, very different in the situations that we're coming across. So our ISA team also, a lot of agents, they don't leave voicemails. I believe in voicemails. Leaving a message to call back. And then another crazy thing, the older leads, we've tested this, and some of you guys may have heard this script, and I'm going to post it in the chat, but I'm also posting in the chat because, guys, all this stuff I teach that I'm telling you, I teach this. I have a course that's open to all agents that you can join, but I'm posting in the chat this text or email that we have sent out, and we've had hundreds of people in the last few days that have raised their hand to talk to us. So there are certain things you can do, but could you finish the sentence for me? If you could sell my home I would list my home this spring. I can't wait to hear your answer. So some of you, this is circling around a lot. We tested it and got hundreds of people to raise their hand.
Wow. That's very interesting.
Yeah. So it works. It works. But when someone says, I need $1 million for my house, and their house is only worth 250, it's a little bit of a long-term nurture, but the fact they responded is very interesting. How many people have responded to that text message? Yeah.
Even if it is, 4 times their home's value, you're starting a conversation. You have a reason now to follow up with them.
Yes, 100%. So think outside the box. If I would just encourage with agents, if what they're doing isn't working, they need to reevaluate it. They also need to look at the actions that they're doing. Make sure to have a very high touch follow-up. Guys, we're getting into summer. You've got interns that can go in most markets that you can connect with, that can do your door hangers for you. You've got kids getting out of high school. Gosh, I've got a KW jacket on right now because I'm cold. Put a t-shirt on with your company's information. Get your high school kids to get out there and go populate neighborhoods. Think outside of the box, what I would say. So when you send that message in your text, Do you identify? Yes, our CRM has a signature and an unsubscribe, but they've already received messages from us, so it would show up.
Excellent information, guys. Do you guys have any couple takeaways before we sign off here? I know that Jordan, we put in your link. Alex, maybe you can drop, or Jake, maybe you can drop it in there one more time, just so that way they can get signed up for zBuyer. And then Christina, you also dropped in your link as well. But if you guys have any couple takeaways here at the end that you guys just want to drop in there for knowledge wise, let's do that. And before we send them off.
I would say, Christina, number one, thank you so much for jumping on here. You're a huge wealth of knowledge, and it's always fun to have these conversations with you. But the first thing that we really talked about and talked quite a bit about is getting to the conversation, just different tactics, different things that you're doing to get to that conversation point. And I would say what has helped you be so successful with this is, like you said, you're a data nerd.
Yes.
You measure everything you do, because you can't measure if something's working or not working if you're not focused on the analytics and you're not watching it. And then the other piece I would say, if you're not, able to make, a cash offer yourself, if you don't have investors, it's simple. Go online. There's investor groups and communities you can find everywhere. Facebook groups are an amazing way to find them. In our local market, there's over 15 different, investor groups that you can find for the greater Springfield, Missouri area. And it's a population of around 100,000 people. So if you're in a big metro market or metro area, you're going to see tons of investors, tons of groups, and be able to form those relationships. And then you spoke to knowing your investors, not just having their contact information, but knowing them. What did they offer? What are they doing? So you can speak to it initially of what an offer might look like, and not just that you have investors. You're taking it one further step to make things tangible for the homeowner, to give them some real numbers to contemplate and get them continuing to think about it, thinking about their options, what's going to be the best. And it allows you to have the conversation of what is most important to you, selling tomorrow or getting the top dollar for your home and protecting your equity.
Yes. And every agent should have multiple investors in their belt. Investors create multiple relationships. I always teach on what would it look like if you had one relationship that can create hundreds of opportunities. You can partner with investors in your area, utilize the leads that you have and other sources, and grow a powerful business with investors. No matter what market, investors are always buying.
Absolutely. And lastly, this isn't a company we have an official relationship with, but it's called Zudelio. Have you heard of them, Christina?
Yep, I have.
We have a lot of agents that use them. It's a really neat platform. What they've done is they've connected large investors from across the nation, some very large hedge funds, and you can submit a leads information into there that'll pull back some instant cash offers that are real live cash offers. The homeowner can also go in and submit more information, more properties of their home to get better or higher offers potentially. And you earn a commission, a percent of that whenever they do accept a cash offer. So if you just cannot find an investor, you're struggling to find people initially, this is a great service that you can look into as well.
I agree. They have a really great reputation as well. So
Yeah.
I really appreciate you having me here today.
Absolutely. And then, like you said, again, these are all things that you teach. You put your link in there. I'll make sure that we copy those over to our Facebook group. So if anyone wants to learn more about them, they can, but that's through the MAPS coaching program. Is that right?
It is KW's MAPS coaching, but it's open to any agent in the country. It's only $199 a month for 3 months. Lots and lots of content for 12 weeks. And for them listening to me here today, they get 15% off.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Christina, thank you so much. Trenton, thank you as well.
All right. I'll see you guys soon. Have a great day.
See you, everyone.
Bye, everyone.